Hey, QD Coders, this is Michael, and we are talking about signing in with a MAUI application today. I'm looking forward for Jan to join us.
Hi, Michael.
And there he is. Good afternoon, Jan.
Here we are.
Excellent.
Let's put. Yeah, that should be okay. Oh, yeah, it
Yep.
flashed away, but it's back.
Oh, okay. yeah.
Let's
I think
set
we
it.
might have the Discord issues resolved.
Yeah, they should be resolved now. I should be able to share my screen now, at least Visual Studio 2022. You were
Excellent.
right. It was hardware acceleration, and I didn't know we had this feature in Visual Studio as well. I disabled it in Discord, but I didn't know it was. And the funny thing, in the previous versions of Visual Studio, on my side it was off already. So is that the consequence of a previous thing I don't remember? Or was
Could
it
be.
default off and in 22 they switched it on? I don't know.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I don't know. That could be as well. I mean, yeah, the prevalence of acceleration hardware on developer machines, yeah,
mm,
definitely, yeah, it's something that you expect to have now, even on a developer laptop.
mm,
Um, but yeah, that wasn't always the case in the past. So maybe,
it's still not always running without trouble.
yeah,
Uh, so it's hot over here.
yeah,
We are
yeah.
having a heat wave. So switched on a little bit aircon inside because
Mm-hmm.
it's not possible. It's around 40 degrees Celsius outside.
Ooh, yeah,
So
yeah.
better stay inside and program.
That's that's actually the kind of temperatures that we've been seeing over the summer, and we're in Texas, so we're
Mm,
supposed to see higher temperatures. But oh goodness, yeah, that's really warm for your area.
yeah, normally it's around 35 at most,
Mm-hmm.
but now around 40. It's too much to be good.
Yeah, indeed.
If if you could just store that energy for the winter, that would be great.
Yeah.
Good. Let's see whether that sharing is working now.
Excellent. All right.
Um, because I did some very simple things, which oh
Oh no.
um, wait. Did I switched it back? I'm just restarting it. Right, let's put Discord back. Where did I switch it back then? Not possible. It was it in options where I found it? Options in the general settings somewhere. No, it's off. Use hardware graphics
Hmm.
acceleration if available. It's off now.
Mm-hmm.
So I tried to share it when I was alone on Discord,
Yeah.
and there it crashed when it was on, and it didn't crash when it was off. And so now the
Mm-hmm.
fact that that we are with two on Discord makes it try it again.
Yeah.
Wait, let's switch off other stuff. Perhaps, yeah, Outlook also. So now the only things I have is Discord and this Visual Studio. Okay, if
Okay.
I don't move my mouse,
So far,
yeah,
so
and then
good.
if I move my mouse,
I can see it.
yeah,
Okay.
is there a link with Outlook perhaps? Okay, never mind. We will try. We will find out later. It's funny.
Yeah.
Okay, the simple things which which were not. For me, there is nothing simple. But the good thing is the store test here. So I made it was in the store test. We have, where was it? Here, load bookmark and
Okay. Nice and simple. I
no,
like it.
no. In the test was it save and load bookmarks and save and load MRU. So this one
Okay.
here, if I run this one, it passes. So it passes again and load and run MRU, and that one also passes. So what are we doing here? The bookmarks. I just make a SQLite store. I save a bookmark with the feed hash A. I load it again. I save one with the feed hash B. I load that one, and I save another bookmark with feed hash A again. So the first one is here,
Yeah.
but a different bookmark. And then I load one with an unknown bookmark.
Okay, good. Yeah.
An unknown feed hash.
Yeah.
So I get the first one. I get bookmark A back. It's good. I get bookmark A2 back. So that's the same hash, but a new bookmark. This one is completely independent. And
Right.
if I don't know the feed, an unknown feed, it gets just an empty string.
Excellent. Yeah, that matches the contract of of the feed endpoint. Yeah, I like that.
And then for the MRU, and that one, I'm still struggling a little bit with the time formats in SQLite. And I want to search there a little bit deeper. I did in fact the same thing. So a datetime A1, which I stored with the hash A, and I got back the datetime. So the datetime should be now A1. Then I did the same with another hash, and then I repeated for the first hash. What I didn't do was get one which is empty.
Yeah, what's the expected
So,
behavior?
it should be a null value.
Okay, yeah, and I think that.
But it's not gonna be. It's gonna fail. So specification unknown specification hash, and then that one should be. Can I just put here null or nothing or?
I think you changed the function name, so instead of b, it should be b null, and it takes no parameters, if I remember correctly.
Be null with.
Yep.
And that's not gonna work. We will see immediately why. Yeah. Here, did not expect, but found this one.
Okay.
Why? Because in my SQLite store, what I'm doing here, so when I get it, I do. Actually, SQLite is storing dates as strings, either as strings, either as sticks. SQLite has no real date format.
Okay.
So what I did here, when I set it, I specified this format. Why this format? because that's the format that I saw in the SQLite viewer at the moment that it was an automatically, no, it's not here, an automatically assigned default date here. So if I say, give me a default current timestamp, then it gave me that format. Now I assume that you can set it somewhere and that you can just set it to the international standard format, that ISO format, but I didn't get there yet.
Okay.
So for the moment, when I save that date, I convert it to a string in that format. And when I get it back, I try parse it from that format.
Okay, I see. And you're parsing it in local time, and you're inserting it in local time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So as you research the international date format and how to change SQLite to do that, can you also use UTC for this? I'm thinking about if you take your phone across time zones, want it to be consistent.
That would be more clever. So we are going to do that.
Very nice. Excellent.
But that are the special things in SQLite. We are so used to having fixed formats and data types.
Yeah.
And every time it doesn't use it, it's funny.
Interesting. Yeah, and so with the data types, do you specify a string length for the hashes?
No, you don't have to.
It's just text.
No.
Okay.
It's just text. The data types in SQLite, I think you have. It's a long time ago. I think you also have blobs. You have integers, you have reals, which cover integers and reals. There is no difference. Let me look that up. Data types SQLite. No. So there is null. There is integers. Yeah. No, there is integers, reals, text, and blobs.
Okay. Nice and simple.
Blob is just some bytes that are stored exactly as it was input. And so Boolean SQLite does not have a separate Boolean type. Instead, Booleans are stored as integers, 0 or 1. So that's
makes sense.
That's okay. Then date and time data types. SQLite does not have a storage class set aside for storing dates and times. Instead, the built-in date and time functions of SQLite are capable of storing dates and times as text, real, or integer values. So text, as ISO 8601 strings, but they don't put the T and they don't put the Z behind it.
Okay.
and they put the milliseconds, but that's not what I saw when I looked at it. So either text, either real as a Julian day number. So that's the number of days since noon in Greenwich on November 24th, 4714 before Christus, and then integer as Unix time, so just the ticks.
Okay.
But I
Yeah,
think
so
if
we
we
can work
just
with that
store
date
it
format.
as
Yeah.
just as text in the that ISO 8601 format.
Oh, okay. So you're talking about
Um,
we'll convert it to 8601 first, and then just call it a text field. Is that what you're thinking?
well, I think you have to convert it yourself first.
Okay.
Right, because they also have date and time functions. Date time, string. They start all the explication again. For example, their date function returns the text as the date as text in this format: year, month, date, and time, hours, minutes, seconds. And date time is the international without the milliseconds, without the T, and without the Z.
Okay.
But so I think you really have to wait, select, because I never see a sample with insert. I will look it up and see further.
Okay. Yeah, I think even
Because
on the
it would be nice if,
inserts, we're providing our own parameter. We're not taking the defaults. Um, so I think yeah, I think
yeah.
if you
Would it?
decide that we should just have strings in the database and then do all the date calculation on our side, that'd be fine.
Yeah, but I mean, if there is a best practice, I
Mm-hmm.
prefer to follow it.
Yeah.
But wait, where was it? Is it interesting to this default current timestamp we don't no use?
Yeah, I think we can go ahead and get rid of the defaults. That proves that we are passing in a value when we insert.
Mm, yeah, just do it like that. Okay. All right. We'll. I'll just finish that and then I will fetch it to or upload it to GitHub.
Excellent. Yep, and then
The MAUI app, I even didn't have a look at it. I wanted, but
mm-hmm.
yeah, because you
Yeah.
wrote that you had some refresh functionality in it.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. I've got the refresh tokens, and I've got sign in through the MAUI app. So so yeah, putting those things together, we'll be able to give a pretty good user experience for authenticating. So I can demonstrate what is working.
All right, let me stop the sharing here.
All right.
Did you have
So
that presentation at your company?
yes, yeah. So yeah, last Thursday we started the Improving You MAUI app, Janaga.net using MAUI, and so the last one was all about what is Janaga.net? How do you create facts and specifications? And we did all of that inside of Polyglot notebooks. And so this evening we will be taking that work and moving it into Visual Studio and making it work inside of an actual MAUI application. We probably won't get as far as authentication, but if we do, we've got some stuff working there, and um, and we probably won't get to turning on the persistence. So if we in order to do that, first of all, I would want to publish the SQLite package to NuGet, and then we'd come in here and change this from Janaga client to Janaga SQLite client and set up the URL. So, but I'll probably tease at this is all you do in order to do local storage, and this HTTP endpoint. In fact, I'm going to start the conversation with nothing in here, and we'll just build the app, and then I say, okay, now you want a server. Go on up to dev.janaga.com and create a replicator, and then pop that URL in here, and now you've got a server. So yeah, take them through building the app, and then incrementally add new capabilities to the app. And the add new capabilities part is where you say, oh, and it's just automatic now.
Mm-hmm. But so that session is still coming?
Yeah, that's going to be this evening.
Oh, okay.
Yep. Yeah,
Great.
so probably not enough time to get the date stuff in there, to get it tested against a MAUI application, do the publishing for the NuGet package. But hey, we can always try.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
All right. So now the experience that I have been working on is really this whole login experience. So let me go ahead and get this built and start it running. And this time I'm going to run it on the Pixel 5. So it's in the Android emulator, which I'll need to move over here so that we're not in the way. Okay. All right. And of course we get an error. Oh, interesting. Okay. I've seen this happen a couple of times. I need to find a way to capture this this example. I need to know, are we getting a bad response from the load endpoint that doesn't have a consistent fact tree, or is the client not processing that tree correctly? It could just simply be that the load endpoint is returning a fact tree that's not in topological order, and then the client's processing it one fact at a time. So yeah, this one I need to capture, but it is oh wow, it happened a second time. Okay, interesting. Whoa. Same key but different value already exists.
It's reproducible.
Wow. Okay, this has not been reproducible before. Okay, good. Reproducible means that I can fix it. Mm-hmm. Okay. You know what? I wish that there were like a little network tab that you could just see, just like in the browser, what's going on here. But yeah, I'll have to find some other way to capture this this stuff. In fact, I might even be able to.
What was it? Fiddle?
Yeah, there is. Yeah, Fiddler. Yeah, I'll have to see if Fiddler can intercept. Yeah, probably can intercept the request from the emulator. But then there's another option. Let's go down this rabbit trail just a little bit before we.
The emulator should have some diagnostics for the network traffic.
Yeah, I haven't been able to find any, so this is the.
Anyway, what you can do is throttle the the network, but
yeah, you can change the way that it simulates the cellular network, but
network traffic.
Yeah. Oh, let's see. this captures a whole bunch of kernel data. I don't know. There might be something useful in there, but I believe that it's already happened. What I'd like to do real quick is go back to the view model. We've got this posts in blog specification right here. I want to hit a breakpoint. Am I going to be able to hit a breakpoint? Am I? Oh, wait, no, I'm sorry. This is inside of load. Okay, I don't think I've actually talked about this yet. So let me talk about this, and then we can see what we're doing here. So, so here I'm setting up the specification. So we saw that first, and then did the j.watch in order to get the observer. And I changed this this type, by the way. It used to be called iWatch, but I don't like something being both a verb and a noun. And in fact, yeah, watch just really didn't sit right with me, but observer. So when you watch, you get back an observer. That makes a bit more sense to me. So I like that that name better. So we've got our observer, and then we start to monitor our observer. Here's monitor. So await cached, which is going to return true if it was actually loaded from the cache. And then we know that now it's just checking for updates. Or if it returns false, then it's actually trying to load things. So I await loaded, and then there we get back post loaded, or the exception. So that's how we monitor the observer. But there's something else we can do with an observer. Well, first of all, we can stop the observer. I changed this to a synchronous method, so it's now just void stop. It was originally async, but turns out it didn't do anything with the async. It makes a lot more sense to do this synchronously. So stop the observer. But then here, refresh. So when you hit the refresh button, then it's going to just call refresh on the observer. And so all this does is in the background, it just hits that load method inside the observer again. So the same thing that it did while it was initializing the observer and fetching that data from the server. It just says, oh, okay, go ahead and fetch it again. So that will check your feeds, see if they are still cached, and then it'll start reading from those feeds from the bookmarks that it already has. And then as it receives those messages, it'll just notify the observer. So it'll just call these methods.
But it will use the bookmarks.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, so refresh should be just a real fast hit, and if nothing has happened, it gets back an empty collection, and it says, okay, I've refreshed. Yep, move all the data to the client, and then project it, and things just go faster. Okay, so yeah, refresh. And in fact, I was thinking through the syntax that I originally had for, I'm going to hit this button now because this button now works. Go to docs. The syntax that I originally had for the subscriptions is right here, just j.subscribe. And I think I'm going to change that syntax. Currently that syntax isn't working anyway, so I can do that without breaking anybody. But I think what I will do is have a subscribe on the observer itself. So you can take this observer, you can turn on subscription and turn it off. And that way when you stop the observer, you stop the subscription at the same time. So you basically get a chance to choose right here when you're loading, okay, I'm going to do the j.watch. That'll fetch all the initial stuff, and then, yeah, I mean, j.watch is immediately going to give you back your observer. The observer is going to be doing the loading while, while you have it, because you can then await its tasks. But then at this point, you'll be able to say, and turn on subscription. So, subscribe equals true, whatever. And then that means that it'll set up the WebSockets. So after it's done the initial fetch, then you'll get push notifications when something changes. So I think that'll be the way to go. And that way you get to choose what's important for the user to see immediately, and what can you just refresh to pull it on demand.
Yeah.
So that is Observer. Now what I want to do is when I hit refresh, let's see, at this point do I still have, I don't think I still have this specification. Let's just double check. Otherwise I will restart it. So inside the observer, we've got the cached and loaded tasks. So non-public, I've got the specification. Okay, good. So here's the specification. And I can just peer into the specification. But what I really want to do is, let's take a look at, I think I want the immediate window. I don't know, will the immediate window be able to get to the observer.specification? Huh, that is a weird error message. Clearly it's not null. But can I somehow grab this? Copy expression, that doesn't make much sense. Well, yeah, let me just go ahead and, well, that's the same thing I just typed. Yeah, okay, so what I was trying to do is see if I could just peer into the specification, get its description. That way I can be sure that what I'm sending to the replicator as a service is correct. But I will do it this way. So let's, well, we don't need to close it down that way. We can just close it down this way, start it back up again. And the initial load, we still have this specification. So now, posts in blog, I should be able to copy the value here, and if I go to this, let's go ahead and create a new, I don't want to do it here. Let me go back to this one. Yeah, this actually is, I think I did the exact same thing here. Yeah, so paste it in. This is inside of some braces. So that's the exact same specification that I'm using, but I also need the starting point. So if I didn't want to do that, step over this. I think I grabbed that last time from stepping into watch, but now I'm using the now I'm using the NuGet package, so I probably can't do that. Yeah, can't do that. But what I got last time was that hash. I haven't exposed the hash function in Janaga.net yet, but it is going to be important, so I will do that at some point. So let's just make sure that we are using the correct specification. We've got the site. We are getting the posts and the titles of those posts. Yeah, so if I send this to the replicator, which is N25, let's just double check. If I go to settings, this is a pattern that that I've started doing, is that we've got a partial class for settings, and this defines all of the properties, and all of these properties are just descriptive, not actual values, except for the scope is an actual value, the callback URL is an actual value, but then I've got this verify function that that I call that makes sure that you've actually overridden those values. If you get back the default value, then it throws an exception, which leads you here that tells you to create this guy. So settings.local, not checked into the repository because I've got that inside of the git ignore. But there we see N25E. N25E.
Yeah, it's the same, yeah.
Yep. So send that. And these are the feeds that I'm getting. So then I can go one at a time with the feeds. So let me just go ahead and duplicate this. Feed 1. That is going to be /feeds/ then that endpoint, and you are going to get, so nobody, and these are the references that we get back, and then I can duplicate that for the other feeds. So there's a lot of stuff going on. Feed 2. Here's the feed. Oh, it duplicated it before the save. Interesting. So that's a get. Nobody. Can I get feed? Oh, didn't mean to delete the S. Feeds 2. Okay. Now, save. Okay. 2 more. We've got the feed number 3. I know this is riveting stuff. This is going to be the most watched episode ever. Oh, wait a minute. I'm editing the wrong one. Go back. Feed 3. That's where I want to paste this in. Send that, and then... Oh, duplicated the wrong one. Then we go to feed 4. Go back here, get the value of the feed. So this is what your mobile app is doing, but just much faster than I can. So there's feed 4. Okay. So we've got post title, and here we've got post title. That's SV3 WKU UF plus, SV3 UF plus. Don't have the WKU here, but we've got we've got other posts and titles here. And then this here is the SV3, the GCV, Yeah, that would use GCV there. Then we've got N47 and XHY. This is probably a deleted post and the deletion itself. So basically then it fetches all these feeds, and then if everything happens within a tenth of a second, which it seems to be happening, then it's going to collect all of these hashes together and then do one load with all of that. So let's duplicate this. Oops. Where did it go? I dropped it in the wrong place. Here. Boom. Okay. So we want to call this load. And this is going to be a post not to feeds, but to load. And the post is not going to be raw text, but this is going to be JSON, and it's going to be this kind of data structure, except no bookmark. Okay, so we really want everything that is distinct in this. So I already have SV3, yep. So get rid of that duplicate. WKU is new, UF plus is not new, so get rid of that one. So 2, SV3, GCV. So copy in just the GCV, and then from feed 1 we've got 2 completely different references. So bring those in, load, that's there. Okay, so these should be all the facts that I don't yet have with duplications eliminated. If we failed to eliminate all the right duplicates, this should still work, but this simulates exactly what the mobile app would be doing. So save that, send it, and now we get back this big old fact tree. So it starts with the site, and we've got predecessors. Each time we see predecessors, at first it's empty, and then it should be that all of the predecessors are already in this collection, and that would be topological order. So WJ9 is already here, and WJ9 is already here. Yeah, and now we get to GCV. That's going to be one of these posts. There's GCV. Then SV3 is a post. N47 would be a post. There's SV3 with the prior WKU. So quick glance, it looks like it's in topological order. If we were to take a look at the application, we'll let the application continue. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, now it works, of course. Refresh. Keep going. Yeah, or we can actually pull to, or wait, no. Continue. No, really. There you go. So we can hit the refresh button. Why are you still stopping here? I got rid of the endpoints, or breakpoints. Yes.
Not reproducible anymore.
Okay, and we've got the pull to refresh because we're on the device simulator. Okay. Well, that is, yeah, that is something that I'm going to have to capture that when it happens and say, okay, this is the response I got back. This was the actual request that I sent. Did I get back a malformed response? Or did it...
Otherwise, building in
yeah.
some logging.
Yep.
Diagnostic feature.
Okay, yeah, you are definitely not working right now. Close the app. And there it comes. All right. Refresh. Yeah. Okay. But so that's exciting, and we've got the video of the actual error, so I can go back and compare that with the list of hashes that I got back here. See which one it was complaining about, and then even before capturing the the actual request and response, I might be able to make an assumption and dig a little bit easier, a little bit deeper. Okay, but that is not what I really wanted to show you. What I really wanted to show you is this button. So log in. Boom, we can hit login, and then it goes to repdevjanaga.com, and then that redirects over to Apple ID, and then we go ahead and sign in. I told it to save my my username and password for Apple on this device, this virtual device here. So go ahead and use that. And when we tell Apple to log in, do you want to continue using your blog MAUI account with your Apple ID? And that's because your blog MAUI account is the actual string that I told it to use for that service. So it makes sense in context. So continue, and shoot, we received an access token. I'm just logging the access token out. So yeah, the next thing, of course, is we're going to use that access token as a bearer token for all of the API calls. So I'll have a way inside of janaga.net for you to give the client that access token. So the way that it's doing that is, for right now, I'm doing all of this inside of the same view model. And yeah, let's go ahead and stop it so that we can see this a little bit more clearly. Okay, found some instructions on how to use the Web Authenticator class inside of MAUI. But basically, Web Authenticator just opens up a web browser, goes to one URL, and then waits till the user navigates to another URL. And then it gives the application all of the information about where they ended up. So Web Authenticator doesn't do any of the actual client authentication logic. I went looking for a library that does this, and I didn't find one. So I'm trying to figure out how much of this do I want to create a library around? How much do I just want to have you download the code, put it in your own app? Not really sure. But yeah, what I've got here is an OAuth client that this basically implements the OAuth 2 protocol around client authentication. So you give it all of the parameters. So these are exactly the parameters that come from here. So that's all of these things. And then and I put those all inside of the settings object, so you can, as a developer, have your own overrides for those settings. And then inside of your CI/CD pipeline, you can inject the settings for whatever target you're building for. And then we say, okay, go, with that client, build the request URL. We'll take a look at what it does to do that. Then, do the user experience. When you get the callback, now you can take the auth results and you can grab query string parameters off of the auth results. So we're looking for the state and we're looking for the code. Those are the two things that get posted back. And then from there, we get our token response. And token response is an object that has our access token, our refresh token, the number of seconds before it expires, and the list of scopes that we actually got from our request. So the idea then is that we're going to grab this, we're going to put it into secure storage, and that way when they start the application again, we still have the access token. We don't ask them to log in again. And furthermore, we have the refresh token. So even if the access token has expired, we can use the refresh token to get another one without asking them to log again. So let's dive into this, and this is the part that I think deserves a library somewhere. I just don't know if I want to be the one to maintain it. So this is your OAuth client, and this particular OAuth client just does authorization code with Pixie. That is the only protocol that it supports. So it starts by creating a code verifier and a state, and both of these are just random strings generated from 32 bits of entropy, just base64 encoded. So we've got our code verifier and we've got our state. Then with the code verifier, what we do is we produce a challenge. So we keep the code verifier to ourselves, but then the challenge is just the SHA-256 hash of that code verifier.
Yeah.
So this should be one way. A man-in-the-middle attack that can grab the code verifier should not be able to figure out or that gets the code challenge, should not be able to figure out the code verifier. That's what Pixie is all about. Then we build a URL with the, so we're looking for response type code. We've got the client ID, the redirect URI, the scope, the state, code challenge, and the code challenge method is SHA-256. So just send that query off. So coming back to this guy, you see there's the request URL, and so we open up the browser, say navigate to that URL, and then the browser takes it from there. So it's going to redirect to Apple, collect your credentials. Apple's going to redirect back, and then we are ultimately going to redirect back to your callback URL, which is the value that you set up here. So actually, yeah, this isn't the one that we're looking at. We are looking at the blog. No? One of these. Am I looking at the Improving You one? No. Yeah. One of those actually has the callback URL that we're using. Weird. How's that working? Which one of these am I using? But the callback URL that I'm actually using, if I go back to settings local, that is, oh, that's right. I didn't set this in settings local because the default is going to work for all developers, blog MAUI callback. So that's a custom URL scheme, and so for each different operating system, we need to have a different way of registering that custom URL scheme. And in this one here, yeah, in Android, this is how you do it. So we say, okay, if you see somebody try to navigate to blog MAUI, then this is me. So go ahead and ping my application. It's for deep linking, but it can also be used for authentication. So we'll set this up for Android. There will be a different if-def for iOS. And this is the reason, by the way, that I'm testing this inside of the simulator, is that that mechanism doesn't work in Windows right now. It's a known bug. So it's like, okay, we'll test it on the phone. Okay. So see, do that. Then, okay. Yeah, now we've done the user interface, we've redirected, we've got our state, and we've got our code. The state should be just exactly the same state that that I passed in here. So, wait a minute, where is the state coming from? Build request URL should be passing in the state. Yeah, here's the state. Where's that coming from? Oh, that should be set in the constructor in a... Wait a minute. No, oh, I'm sorry. That's generated, that's a random string generated each time. Yeah, it's not set in the constructor. Okay. Yep. So that is protecting against cross-site request forgery, is what that one is for. So somebody can't just initiate a login under their own context, have the callback come back to your application, because then you'll be looking at that state and saying, no, I didn't generate this. Where did this come from? So we've got those two methods, and then so we validate state. That just simply says, is this just the state that you generated? If not, throw the exception. And then we get the token response. So now we've got the code, and we have to now call the server, just posting that code and the actual code verifier. So it says, okay, this is the code that I received, and here's the proof that the hash that you have came from me, because now this is the value that I hashed. So there's the code verifier. There's the code. Send that off to the client, and then we deserialize that token response. And now from there, you've got your access token, and you've got your refresh token. So the last little bit of all of this was that whole refresh token thing. So when I do the authentication walkthrough, then we get back all of that stuff, including the refresh token. Postman caches that refresh token for you. I don't know if it shows you the refresh token. It's a much shorter string. It's not a base64 encoded JSON object like the access token itself. It's just a short random string. But yeah, this refresh token that I generated was over 24 hours ago, so it has already expired, or this access token has expired. But now that I have it, I can hit refresh, and it posts that to the server, and here I get an error in this case. What is the error that I'm receiving? There's a refresh token. Well, there you can see what the refresh token is. That one was not found. So yeah, this test, I'm not entirely certain that... Oh, wait a minute. No, this test is going against repdev. Well, let's just walk through the whole process. If we get the access token, then it does the redirect, gets us over here, and we say mperry@mallardsoft.com, log in, and I need the password for that. So look that up here, copy it, paste it. Okay, continue using Colab. Yes. And then I get back the access token. If I proceed, these are all the things that it grabbed out of that JSON object. So we've got our access token, and we've got our new refresh token. It expires in 24 hours, written in seconds. The scope, it's going to give us all three of these scopes that we asked for. And then there's the URL you can use to get the access token, which is also the same URL you use to use the refresh token and get a new one. So use that token, and now it's been added to the token collection here. So there's the token. It's in the token collection. Yeah, it just gives them all the name, token name. But
It's practical.
Yep, now we've got it, and we can see here this was the post back, and then this is yeah, this one here is where we fetch the token given the code. So here's the request body. So I said, okay, here's the code that you gave me. Here was the code verifier that I used in order to give you the code challenge. So check that verifier. And then if it all checks out, then give me the access token for that particular code. And then it says, all right, here it is. Here's the access token. Here is the refresh token. That's where it expires. These are your scopes. So cache all that stuff. And then eventually, when 24 hours passes, this token's no longer good, we can go through the refresh cycle, and this time it worked.
Renew.
Yeah. So all that is a post again to that same URL, but now it says here was my refresh token, and just give me the new access token. And so you get back exactly the same kind of thing. So here's your new access token. Here's another refresh token, so you can keep on doing this. And so the access token expires in 1 day. The refresh token expires in 30 days. So as long as somebody logs or just starts the application within 30 days, then it's going to get a new access token, and it's going to keep them logged in. If they uninstall the application, then we'll delete that from secure storage. And if they don't access the application for 30 days, the next time they start it up, our refresh token won't be any good, and it'll ask them to log in again.
If they went on a long holiday,
Yep.
when they come back, they have to remember their password.
Yep. So that should be a good user experience.
Mm-hmm.
But this code here, I mean, it's not terribly long code, not terribly difficult to understand. So on the one hand, I'm not too upset with just having people download this class and now owning it. But then, on the other hand, this very easily could be a NuGet package. It's just this one class long. And then I show you how to do this. You're going to have to do this one by yourself. I'm not going to have a NuGet package for that. And then show you how to do this, because this is how it integrates with your experience, and so you'll definitely want to own this. So yeah, not sure where to draw the line right now, but that is what is working.
Well, that's nice progress.
We're
Now,
almost there.
now getting diagnostics built in to find
Yes.
where it goes wrong.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, that is going to be that is going to be a good bug to squash. Don't know if that's a JavaScript bug or a .NET bug. It's in one of those two.
It will not be the last one.
No. No, but yeah, again, every time I see a bug at Janaga, it's like, okay, that once that's fixed, it's going to be fixed for everybody. So yeah, by the time this is production ready, yeah, I'm really looking forward to having the picture of this is what you usually write. You write your user interface, and then you persist that to local storage. You create an API call, and then you have this stuff in the middle that then calls the database, and then you've got this other application over here that's reading from that, so it calls an API and it does the SQL, and so replace that with similar picture, but now here it's just j.fact, and there it's j.watch. And then everything else in the middle, there's just a replicator in the middle, and it's like everything else in the middle is already tested, so you don't have to debug that.
Yeah. Plus the fact that everything gets automatic notifications between your different screens.
Yeah,
that's going to be nice.
Yeah, and then just turning it on by calling a function or setting a property. I'm not sure if I want to be so bold as to just set this property to true and then it's done.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna find out for SQLite how we best store that date. Then I'm gonna play a little bit with that MAUI app.
Excellent.
Finally get a little bit into it.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And as I make progress here, I'll keep pushing changes to the MAUI app. That one's in a public repo, so everybody can follow along with that one. And yeah, we will get our first application up and running, and then you can start working on DWS.
Yep. Great. A lot of success for this evening.
Yeah.
And let me know how it finishes.
All right. Will do. Thank you very much, sir.
I hope there will be some other folks coming in and starting to build apps as well.
Mm-hmm.
That would be nice.
Yeah. I'm learning how to teach this stuff by teaching it internally. So I'll put those videos together, and then as people come in, it's like, hey, watch the video. Did you have success? Let's move people forward.
It will be nice that you can get in incremental, that you can start with something simple, and especially now with the replicator, making a connection is easy. And then with a few samples like the MAUI application, that might convince people.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Michael,
that's the plan.
See you next Thursday?
Yes, indeed. We'll see you then.
Okay.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Yeah.